Ready to level up your stream and ditch that grainy, blurry webcam for a new one? Well, I get you. There are tons of options out there, and figuring out the perfect one can feel like a total maze. That's why today, we're looking into the top 5 best webcams to get your hands on right now. So, let's get started. We start with the Nexigo N60. When you're looking for a webcam that won't break the bank, there are tons of options out there. And honestly, some of the lesser-known ones can be a bit of a gamble. But the Nexigo N60 is definitely one of those pleasant surprises. Sure, it's a 1080p webcam running at 30 frames per second. So, you're not getting top-of-the-line, crystal-clear, professional cinema quality here. But for typical streaming, especially when it's scaled down on screen, like when you're just a little box in the corner, it apparently looks pretty darn good. What's interesting too is the software that comes with it. It's not the prettiest thing to look at, but it sounds like it's actually useful. For example, you can fine-tune the white balance, which is great if you're picky about colors looking natural. And you can even save your settings, which is handy. Now, the microphone, well, that's where it seems to take a bit of a hit. It's got noise cancellation built in, which sounds good in theory, but from what users are saying, you can't adjust it or turn it off, and the audio can come across a bit tinny or with popping sounds. So maybe you'll want to think about a separate microphone when buying this. Build-wise, it's what you'd expect for a more budget-friendly webcam. Plasticky, but not super flimsy. It tilts and swivels, which is useful for getting the right angle. It also has a wide 110-degree field of view. That's something to consider, as it might show more of your room than you want. You can zoom in digitally, but like with any 1080p webcam, that can make the picture quality worse pretty quickly. So, in a nutshell, the Nexigo N60 looks like a really solid option if you're after a good enough quality 1080p webcam without spending a fortune. For a budget pick, it seems to punch above its weight. Next, we've got the Logitech StreamCam. Now, this one's interesting because it's aimed at people who are serious about getting into streaming. I mean, those who have computers that can handle a bit more grunt. And that's because it's designed to capture videos at up to 1080p resolution, but at a super smooth 60 frames per second. What that means for you is a really fluid, natural-looking video, which is exactly what you want when you're live. People who've used it rave about the video quality. It's apparently really impressive, and it comes with some cool software features built in. Things like backlight correction, so you don't look like you're in a shadow, center framing to keep you in the shot even if you move around a bit, and image stabilization to smooth out any jitters. Now, you might need to play around with those settings a little to get them just right for your setup. For example, if you're using center framing, you might need to drop the frame rate a tad so it can keep up with your movements. But if your computer's up to the task, and this webcam does need a bit of power, it sounds like it can deliver some seriously great results. It's got a premium glass lens with smart autofocus, which is always a plus for sharp, clear images. Apparently, it's optimized to work seamlessly with popular streaming software like OBS, XSplit, and Streamlabs OBS, which is super convenient. You can also mount it in landscape or portrait mode, and even stick it on a tripod if you want more flexibility. Plus, it uses a fast USB-C connection, which helps ensure you get a stable, high-quality video feed. So for streamers who want that extra level of polish and control, the StreamCam seems like a strong contender, especially if you've got a decent PC to back it up. And then we've got the Obsbot Tiny 2 Lite. The brand is quite renowned for its AI-powered webcams, and the Tiny 2 Lite continues that trend, but at a more accessible price point. Think about it. It can pan, tilt, and zoom to follow you as you move around your streaming space. For anyone who likes to get up and move, or even just fidget in their chair, this is super useful. You don't have to worry about constantly adjusting your camera to stay in frame. Design-wise, it's a bit bigger than your average webcam, but that's because it has a built-in gimbal. That gimbal is what allows it to physically move and track you, and it can cover a pretty wide range of motion. Plus, it's got gesture controls, so you can use hand signals to do things like lock focus or zoom. Pretty neat, right? And here's a smart touch. Instead of a lens cap that you'll probably lose, you can just tilt the camera down to cover the lens for privacy. It also magnetically attaches to its mount, which is a nice detail. Oh, and there's a big LED light that tells you when it's on and even if it's actively focused on something. For such a small webcam, the Tiny 2 Lite apparently delivers really impressive picture quality, especially at 4K. But is it going to beat the absolute top-of-the-line webcams out there in terms of pure image perfection? Maybe not. But for the price and the features you get, 4K resolution is still 4K resolution, and that's sharp. The only downside is that it doesn't support capturing in 1440p resolution. So it might give you a hard time when streaming with a poor internet connection. Yet, the Obsbot Tiny 2 Lite seems like a fantastic option if you want a 4K webcam with smart AI tracking features without spending a fortune. It's packed with tech that can really enhance your streams, making it a solid number 3 pick. At number 2, we have the Insta360 Link. This webcam is something special. Think of that saying, good things come in small packages. Because for such a tiny camera, the Insta360 Link is packed with features and performance. It's got this really unique, almost cute design that's kind of hard not to like. Apparently, when it powers on and starts moving, it's got this almost animated, expressive quality, which is pretty cool for a webcam. It definitely stands out from the usual boring black boxes, but it's not just about looks, of course. The Insta360 Link is loaded with AI facial tracking, 4K resolution for super sharp video, a whiteboard mode, which is awesome for when your streaming involves presentations. It's even got gesture controls along with something called desk view mode, which adds to its versatility by offering a top-down view of your desk. Now, we've already talked about AI facial tracking and webcams that have this feature, but the Insta360 Link seems to have mastered it even further. I say that because it's got a special technology that keeps the tracking distraction-free without unusual jerking, unlike many competitors. It's smooth and keeps you in frame without those weird, sudden zooms that can be a bit off-putting. Beware of its price, though, since it's not going to be the cheapest option. And honestly, not everyone needs all these bells and whistles, but if you're looking for a top-of-the-line, versatile, feature-rich webcam and are willing to invest in it, then the Insta360 Link is absolutely worth considering. And at the absolute top of the heap, we have the Razer Kiyo Pro Ultra. If you've seen the regular Razer Kiyo Pro, the Ultra version is going to look really familiar. It's got that same solid, chunky build and sturdy stand. But the big difference? This one packs the biggest sensor ever put inside a webcam. Seriously. It's also got a lens cover and an internal shutter, which is great for privacy and keeping the lens protected. Now, the Razer Kiyo Pro is already one of the best webcams on the market. So the Kiyo Pro Ultra had a lot to live up to. But from what users are saying, it's not just lived up to the hype, it's blown past it. And the reason for all the praise? The video quality is just stunning. The Kiyo Pro Ultra can capture 4K video at 30 frames per second, or if you drop the resolution a bit, you can get up to a super smooth 60 FPS. What's really impressive is how well-balanced the images are, even without extra lighting. Some even say it performs better in low light than in bright daylight, which is fantastic if you're a streamer who uses RGB lighting in a darker room. Razer also includes their Synapse software, which lets you really dial in all the settings to get the picture just how you want it. You can tweak pretty much anything you can think of. Sure, this is a webcam for serious content creators, and since it's pretty much like a DSLR camera and a dedicated face cam combined into one device, you're going to have to spend big to get this. So, if you don't absolutely need 4K resolution, you could definitely get away with spending much less. But if you want the absolute best image quality you can get in a webcam, and if your budget allows, then the Razer Kiyo Pro Ultra is absolutely the one to beat. Thanks for watching. If you want more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, press the bell icon for instant notification so that you never miss a video from Tech Insight.